Impeachment is underway in the House of Representatives. That is the impeachment of Donald Trump. For all intents and purposes, his political career is over. One can debate why that's the case, but there's one major reason, and that's the Republican Party. The Republican Party has run exit stage left for the exits. They won't defend the president. They won't defend themselves. They're dead. D-E-A-D, dead. They never did anything about the corruption with regard to James Comey, with regard to Clapper, Brennan, the Obamas, the Clintons, the Bidens, you name it. It's all talk. Just go on Sean Hannity or go on Fox News. Raise money for your reelection. Obtain more power, but never do anything. And that's, in fact, a big reason why the American people are at the doorstep of a violent revolution. And we saw that last Wednesday. I do not advocate that. I've been trying to prevent that. And that's why I wrote the book, It Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry, which you can get at Amazon.com and at freedomwatchusa.org. Read the Declaration of Independence, then read my book, read my lips. Citizens' grand juries to hold people actually accountable under the American legal system by we the people, not by the clowns that sit on the federal bench, the corrupt clowns, or the clowns that sit in Congress, those corrupt clowns, or the deep state, mostly of the intelligence agencies that have gathered surveillance on everyone. And of course, who is leading the charge to impeach President Trump? Liz Cheney. Dick Cheney in a skirt. You would think it was Dick Cheney there. Just put a skirt on him. Because Dick Cheney was Darth Vader. That's the reality. He was the one that pushed George W. Bush, frankly, who was an idiot. He used to call him Uncle Dick. Okay, basically, Dick was the president during the W years because W was off in the White House gym working out or doing whatever he did. But it certainly wasn't doing much in terms of running this country other than getting us into a stupid war in Iraq, resulting in thousands of people dead and hundreds of thousands maimed. But this is what we deal with here, is that the Republican Party has been a big supporter of mass surveillance that Dick Cheney put into effect with W. And then it got worse under Obama, mass surveillance of everyone. And that's why we are now living, if you couple that with what's happening with social media, with companies that are cutting off credit to conservatives and anybody who supported President Trump, or bar associations like the District of Columbia Bar, which is corrupt to the core, run by leftist, ultra-leftist, Democrats, socialists, and communists, frankly, and the New York Bar, same thing. It's a full-court press. It reminds me of the years leading up to the rise of Adolf Hitler, when every aspect of society backed what they thought would be the winner. And then when, of course, after Kristallnacht, he took control, they backed him to the hilt. It was the entire country that backed him to the hilt. The industrialists, the German people, everyone. We've learned no lesson. This country is now living in a dictatorship. We are on the verge of being taken over. We already have in practice. But on January 20th, when Joe Biden, perhaps the biggest criminal ever to enter into the White House, having been bribed by the communist Chinese with millions and millions, if not billions of dollars laundered through his son Hunter. The guy's been a senator for 47 years. How do you wind up a multimillionaire on a government salary? Ask yourself that question. We now face a COVID-19 pandemic, yet no one's ever taken any action against the Chinese, including President Trump, other than Freedom Watch and yours truly with class actions in Dallas, Texas, and Jerusalem, Israel, and a criminal complaint in The Hague, Holland, at the International Criminal Court. It's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse. The country is frankly on its knees. And that's why I want you to read my book, It Takes a Revolution, because we need citizens' grand juries. We need a third continental Congress. We need to alter or abolish this government and form a new government. We don't have a government, not by and for the people. We do it peacefully and legally. We have a right to do it. It's in the front of the Declaration of Independence. When in the course of human events, the sovereign no longer represents the people. Under the laws of nature and nature's God, we have a right to alter or abolish that government and form a new government by and for the people in pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. That's a paraphrase. Thomas Jefferson was much more eloquent than that. Read it. And this is why, in addition to the citizens' grand juries, and in the next weeks, we will be seeking the indictment of Joe Biden and his son and the rest of the criminals. We will be calling for a Third Continental Congress to form a new government in Philadelphia in the spring of this year. We will not be violent. If they come for us, that's their choice, because we'll defend ourselves. But the American people need to rise up. You can see what's going on. The country is unglued. Foreign adversaries are sitting there like wolves, foaming at the mouth, waiting to pounce on our country. And the clowns, court jesters, and criminals that we have in Congress are worried about impeaching Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump is already finished politically. That's clear. And he did part of it to himself, but frankly, he did not incite violence. And frankly, the country is on the verge of it by virtue of what everybody's done in the three branches of government. Jefferson predicted that this would happen, particularly when we don't have a federal judiciary that's accountable to the people, that's unelected, that does not defend us. You can see that even Trump's judges wouldn't even order adequate steps to see whether there was a fraudulent election. And there clearly was a fraudulent election. There's no doubt about it. But yet everybody's running for the exits. So, fellow conservatives, forget about the Republican Party. It's discredited. It's corrupt. It's dead. It's over. Finished. Never again should it ever represent any conservative, any person of faith, or anyone who believes in the vision of our founding fathers. Throw it in the trash where it belongs. Mitch McConnell, the head of it, is supporting impeachment of President Trump. That tells you everything. He is a complete hack. His wife, Elaine Chao, family close to the Chinese Politburo in Beijing, he received money from the Chinese spy John Wang. We discovered that at Judicial Watch back in the 90s. This guy's corrupt as well. So that's my message for today. We have to get on with it ourselves. We need to rise up peacefully and legally. We need to wage the second American revolution, not the second American impeachment of one president. And just remember, don't count on the Republican Party. It's over. It's finished. It's done. Stick a fork in it. And that's my message for today. We move on. Read my book. Read my lips. It takes a revolution. Read the Declaration of Independence. Read what we now have to do on our own with God's grace, God's divine providence, as our founding fathers said in the Declaration of Independence. God is with us if we're with ourselves. We're hanging by a thread. If you don't see that right now, snap out of it. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, reflect and pray, because this country is nearly over unless we rise up and save it now. Thank you for listening to me.
I enroll because going to the doctor shouldn't be a difficult choice.
Whatever your reason for needing health insurance, Nevada HealthLink is here for you. Enroll November 1st through January 15th at nevadahealthlink.com.